angels, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my depth year update from 2022, my depth year plans and goals for 2023, and my journaling. So what I did for journaling last year and what I want to do for journaling and planning this year. So we are at my kitchen table right now because last year this is where I filmed this video. My journaling video was filmed at my kitchen table. I've since gotten a new kitchen table that I absolutely love. And yeah, I just thought we'd keep up the tradition. So I want to start off by talking about what my plans were, my depth year kind of plans were for this year, for 2022. I wrote them in this little Forest Witch journal, which I just kind of write random stuff in. So we're going to go through it and we're going to talk about it. So number 1 was pick specific decks to work with each month, do deep dives and videos. So I didn't do this. I've found that in my practice, picking specific decks to work with for an extended period of time doesn't work for me most of the time. If I set out, this is the decks I'm going to use and I can't use anything else, I find myself wanting to use other things. There were a few months during the summer months that I did weekly deck selections and I did videos about that. And I picked specific decks I wanted to work with during the week, and then I filmed a video with an update of how that went. And that was fun for a little bit, but I find that I don't work the best that way. So I did try it, but it really wasn't ultimately for me. So number 2 was study palmistry, and this just didn't pan out for me this year. Palmistry is something I eventually do want to learn because I just think it's a very practical thing you can do for somebody. It's not something I necessarily would want to make money off of or anything like that. I just want to add it to my skills to be able to do that, because you can do a palm reading anywhere, with anybody. I remember a classmate did a palm reading for me in school once, and I just thought it was the coolest thing. And so I would love to learn palmistry, but I'm going to wait until that kind of hits me as a time that I'm ready to learn. I find that that's kind of when I learn best. So number 3 was study Lenormand. And I did study Lenormand. Let me go grab my Lenormand deck really quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is my only Lenormand deck. This is the Pixies Astounding Lenormand. And I bought this at the very, very end of last year. It's really cute. I did study it. I do have a little cheat sheet that I keep on my shelf next to this if I want to do a reading, but I've kind of found that Lenormand's style is not really the style of reading that I resonate with, at least right now. While I am starting to get more into that folk magic and card divination with playing cards, Lenormand for me is just not, I don't know. I do enjoy a more broad spiritual type of a reading instead of something so predictive and accurate. But I don't know. I might try out some different Lenormand decks and see if maybe it's just the art style. I do love this one because it's, Pixies art, but maybe I'll like one that's a little bit more traditional as far as what they looked like in the past. So I did study Lenormand. I didn't master it or anything like that, but I did study it. Okay, the next one I have is study cartomancy. So I didn't study cartomancy. I did start to read with playing cards though, and I've really enjoyed that. And it's something I think is going to carry on into 2023 pretty heavily. I don't have it as one of my goals for next year, but I definitely want to learn more about cartomancy and read in that more traditional sense of playing cards, just because I think that's so cool, and I think that's, I don't know, it's really fun. There are some other kind of divination type decks that I want. I got one for Christmas that was kind of about bone casting, and I don't know, it's really fun. I've wanted to get more into decks like that. So while I didn't study cartomancy specifically, I did read with playing cards quite a bit. Next we have do rituals every new and full moon, which I definitely 100% did. I would say 98% of the readings, or of the new and full moons, I did tarot readings or a tarot spread. There were a few that I didn't do like a physical ritual or a tarot reading for myself, but I did work with it, whether it was just setting intentions or just being mindful of the moon. But I was aware of every new and full moon, and I worked with about 98% of every new and full moon in the way of like a tarot reading, and I have that documented in my journal, which we'll talk about later. Okay, next we have can only buy one deck a month. Yeah, that didn't work. I do feel like I still completed a depth year by enjoying more of what I have than buying. I definitely connected with a lot of decks and a lot of things I already had, for sure, more than bringing new things in. So I do feel like I did complete a depth year, but I definitely brought in more decks than 12, I think. It's probably in like the 30 range, to be honest. It's not an insane number or anything, and I definitely, most of the decks I brought in this year were ones that I knew I was gonna like, if that makes sense. But yeah, I find that setting no buy or low buy kind of rules for myself never really works. So yeah. All right, celebrate the Sabbats. I didn't celebrate the Sabbats as much as I wanted to. I knew when all the Sabbats were. I acknowledged them in some way. I usually would like post something on my Instagram. I would look up traditions, and so that I'm a little bit more well-versed this coming year. But I didn't, I don't know, I didn't do a lot of homesteading or decorating or anything around the Sabbats the way that I really would have wanted to. But that's okay. I think next year it'll be better, but it's really hard to get out of the normal holidays that you're kind of raised with and the dates. But I do have like a little calendar in my room that shows all the Sabbat days. So I definitely learned more about the Sabbats, and I acknowledge all the Sabbats, but I didn't celebrate them in the way of like big, elaborate decorations or cooking or anything like that. Okay, so my goal was to read 15 books as a minimum and start with books I have, Narnia and Caraval. I did read Caraval. I started Narnia, but I did buy a lot of books this year. So I'm going to show you guys how many books I read in 2022. So in my journal, I have a books I read, and 34 is my grand number, and I'm really proud about that number. I haven't read very many books in the past like 10 years, I would say. High school is kind of when it slowed down for me, and to get back into reading has been, I think, the most healing and beautiful thing for me this year. And I didn't really start this until like March. I think like late March, April is when I really started picking up the reading. I think these two books up here were in, January, February, March. It took me that long. And then the rest of everything else, it just kind of took off after that. And my Kindle, I think, really helped with that because I was just flying through books at that point. So to read 34 books, I'm so proud. It's been so relaxing. It's my way of relaxing that I've found, and my way of just being. And I feel like one of the main goals I have for next year, reading will help with that. So I'm really proud of myself. If you guys want to see, you can pause the video and see all the books I read. I did talk about all of these books in my monthly favorite videos. I talked about what I thought about them. I would say most of these books I really, 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 really enjoyed. So those are the books. So I definitely hit my goal and then some. And I'm really proud of myself. For some, that might not seem like a lot, but for me, who hasn't read a lot of books in the past 10 years, I'm really proud of myself. Okay, so next up, I have spend more time outside. 1,000%, I spent a lot of time outside. Not as much like going out and hiking and doing all of this stuff, but mostly just sitting outside in nature and reading, observing. Like I'll sit outside and bird watch on my porch. I did tarot chats for a majority of the beginning of the year on my deck outside. So I definitely spent a lot of time outside, more time than I've spent outside in years. So that was really healing for me, and I think next year it'll just be more so, right? I definitely want to spend more time outside because one of my goals kind of encompasses all of these things. And so the last kind of depthier thing I wanted to do was work with my moon cycles, and I did. I bought the Sacred Cycles Oracle, and I'll insert a picture because I don't feel like going and getting it to work with my moon cycles or my monthly feminine period. And it was really healing for me. I look at it more of as a sacred thing now. I don't feel as disgusted. I feel like, I don't know, more empowered about it. And so I definitely, I feel like healed a lot of stuff around that. And working with that deck helped. I was doing every single month working with that deck, and then I kind of just fell away from that and was just working with it in my own way of just acknowledging it and being grateful and all of these other things, right? So that was my depth here. I feel like for the most part it was a success. I feel like I put a lot of like study and like do this and do that, and that just doesn't work for me. I need broader goals or things I can work with a little bit better. So my depth year plans for 2023, or my goals for 2023, are number 1, be a spiritual advisor, and then I have astrology here. So I want to feel like I'm using my spirituality in a practical sense of helping people around me that maybe aren't as spiritual as I am. I find myself being asked questions a lot regarding astrology because a lot of people know I identify as a witch and that I'm spiritual. And so a lot of times in my life at work and things like that, I get asked what's going on in the universe right now to make me feel this way. And I've been somewhat of a help for sure, and I have people come to me about other kind of witchy things as well. But I would love to be more of a spiritual advisor to people in my real life. So astrology is not something that I want to like deep dive this year. Astrology is something I want to learn on a daily basis. Astrology is kind of what I did study and look into the most last year, even though it wasn't on my list. Along with that, I would also want to have spells, amulets, crystals on deck and available to give to people that are going through certain things, and kind of give my advice and be able to help people that way. Because I want to help people in a more practical way, right? And I feel like astrology is one of the more widely accepted things in spirituality. It's something that maybe people do give some, power to, or they subscribe to, even if they don't believe in other things. And, the moon phases, I do get asked a lot about moon phases. And because last year I worked so much with the moon, I knew kind of what was going on. But as far as planetary transits and retrogrades and things like that, I want to be more aware of what's happening so that I can advise others around me. And that's a big goal, and one of my journals for next year will definitely help with that. Number 2 is weave more spells and witchcraft into daily life. I definitely want to do more spells, more intentions. I did one the other day that has panned out for me, and I'm really happy. But I want to do more like bulk, like protection jars or something like that to be able to hand out to people I love. All right, guys, I'm really sorry if the angle has changed. I'm actually filming the rest of this video on a different day because I got interrupted when I was trying to film this video the other day. So I was talking about my second kind of depth year plan, which was weave more spells and witchcraft into daily life. Another thing that I really want to do is more kitchen witchery. I do enjoy cooking a lot, and I feel like it's not something that I really get to do often. And so I would love to cook more, make more intentional meals, and yeah. But just, and I feel like, you know, this past year I really weaved magic into every single day, but I just want to weave more rituals into every day. Just little things like maybe blowing cinnamon into my front door for prosperity, or other things like that. I have started adding cleansing rituals when I'm actually cleaning the house. I don't know, I just want to keep doing things like that. My next goal is to read 40 books. So as you guys saw, I read 34 books in 2022. And so I think 40 is a fair number, especially since I didn't really start reading last year for the first couple months. So yeah, again, if this might be a little bit steep, I was gonna do it at 30, but I was like, well, I already passed 30, and I definitely think I can read more than the 34 that I did last year. So that is my reading goal. The next one is to live a more analog life. So this is like honestly the biggest kind of goal, the biggest thing I want to change in my life in 2023. I more and more have gotten almost like repulsed by technology. And by technology, I'm talking more about like screens. Like my phone has made me almost feel like sick to be on my phone and be scrolling and just be doing these mindless things. It's like I can't stand it anymore. And so when I'm filming this, actually, it is now the 3rd of January. So we are technically in the new year now. And I feel like I have started to implement this into my life for sure. I have left my phone in my bedroom for most of the day. I check it kind of in the morning, you know, message everybody back. It's just hard because my family does not live here. You know, like my biological family doesn't live here. And so we text. We have a group text, and I text my mom and my sisters like all day long. But I want different kind of connections there. I would love to do phone calls, right? I do have a landline phone because I do live somewhere where there's no actual cell service. I do have Wi-Fi calling, but I do have a landline phone, and I would love to just have people call me that way. I also did, my mother bought me a wax seal kit for Christmas. I'll show you guys one of the stamps with my last name or my last initial there. And I've started writing letters to the people that I love. I just want to live life more intentional. I think that's kind of like the main word I want to bring into 2023 is intention. It's just doing everything with intention. And I do really want to be present in the moments. I don't want to be sucked into a screen. I deleted Instagram off of my phone, and now I only have it on my iPad so that I can still post. Part of me really honestly just wanted to get rid of my phone altogether, but that's kind of impractical with, you know, my Etsy shop and my YouTube channel. I can't just get rid of my phone. If one day that kind of changes and I don't do that anymore, then possibly. But I do enjoy filming YouTube videos quite a bit, being creative that way. And I love doing tarot readings for others, and that's what I do through my Etsy shop. So I decided to delete Instagram off of my phone, and now if I want to post something on Instagram, I'll take the pictures on my phone and I'll send them to my iPad, and I'll post them from my iPad. And the reason I'm doing that is because my iPad's quite large, and it's really hard to like start scrolling on Reels on my iPad. And that's where I feel like I get stuck, like sucked into my phone. I'll just be on Reels for like 2 hours, and I'm like, where did my time go? And it's not like relaxing, it brings me stress, and it brings me anxiety when I'm looking at my For You page and I'm seeing all these things and I'm like comparing myself and I'm feeling not good enough sometimes, or I feel like I'm not aesthetic enough, or so on and so forth. And it's bringing me so much more pain than it's bringing me pleasure in any way. So I still will be posting on Instagram. I do like to share things on my stories and things like that, but it's going to be more intentional. If I want to post something, I'll have to really think about it and, get onto my iPad. It's not like just at my fingertips on my phone. It's a little bit more of a process to do that. I find that like TV, watching TV can be more relaxing for me than just being on social media. I don't have Facebook or really any other kind of thing that I can get stuck into the scroll, but I just don't want to be on my phone very much in general. I want to rely less on that, and I already feel happier and lighter by kind of stopping that and, having designated times during the day where I bring my phone out, I do what I need to do, I look at my bills or whatever it is, and then I put it away. My next goal is to eat healthy and lose more weight. I have already started to eat healthy again. As you guys know, I was on a weight loss journey August through like October, and I lost 35 pounds, and I've been maintaining that. Through the holiday season, I kind of was a little bit lax on that, and I kind of just, I was still mindful of what I was eating, but not as strict as I had been. And so with the new year, I definitely have gone back to what I was eating before, and I haven't started my exercising yet because I've been a little bit exhausted and tired of just everything. So as soon as my energy kind of goes back up, I will start to exercise again. But I'm really excited to get to my actual goal weight this year. But I think I want to kind of stretch it out and not, try to cram it into 3 months or anything like that. My next goal is to declutter my deck collection and life to staples/loves. So by this, I mean just my life in general. I really want to declutter things down to like my main use or my main things that I just really like. I've already really done a big kind of declutter in my life when I moved to this home at the beginning of 2022. I got rid of almost half of the things that were in my previous home, and so in this place, everything has a place right now. I do have a few boxes I still need to go through that are in the closet, but as far as everything that's out that you can see, it has a place. It's not clutter, it's not a mess or anything like that. Everything has a place in this home at this point. And I just want to further like condense that. I really need to go through my clothes and get rid of what I don't wear, right? And I just really want to have like a core group of like clothes that are like staples, because I find myself wearing the same things, over and over. And with my deck collection, I definitely want to do that, either reorganizing everything into a kind of a library and only keeping a few things on my desk at a time. That's where I'm feeling kind of like overwhelmed. When they're up on the shelf and they're just kind of like put away in their place, it's fine. But I find that I just start piling them onto my desk, and then I have all of these decks and I'm like, there's no room for me. So I definitely want to take a critical look at my deck collection. I have a big pile of decluttered decks that I need to get listed for sale. So that's just something I need to do. And then my last goal is to work on my personal style some more. I really want to get to a place where I feel really 100% comfortable with my style and my aesthetic. That's like my outward style. I feel like over this past year, I've gotten to a really good place with how I present myself and, my clothes and things like that. But I just haven't really bought myself clothes or accessories or anything like that much over the past few years. And so I really want to buy some like really good staples, things that I feel really comfortable in, but also feel really powerful in, that reflect me. Because over the past few years, especially, this past year and then 2021, I feel like I really found myself and found who I want to be. And it wasn't what anybody was telling me to be or me trying to be like anybody else. I was just really just myself. And I really want that to reflect in my outward appearance. I already feel like it does for the most part, but I just want to kind of further work on that style and who I want to present myself as. So those were my depth year plans for 2023. So I feel really good about this. I feel like these are all things that are very doable for me, or things that I've already been doing, or things that I'm really passionate about doing. It's not putting me in a box necessarily of things that I have to get done or whatever. These are things that I really been wanting to do lately, and it's just, so it's going to, I think, be easy to kind of transition into these goals. Okay, so now that we have that, I want to talk about my journaling kind of journey that I did last year, what I did, and what plans I have for this coming year. So my journal for last year was this one, and it is really pretty. I bought it at Hobby Lobby. I just really liked this like style. It felt very like Celtic to me, and it has this like copper. It's really pretty and like metallic. I really love it. My home for my kitchen has been like copper themed. It's really pretty. I want to do a tour of my house when it's a little bit more completed. We're still in the midst of construction all the time. But then my living room is like very gold. So I've been very into the metallics with decorating. I did add this little label right here for 2022 recently. So this wasn't there, but now that the journal is complete, I thought it would be good to put that there so that I can add it onto my bookshelf, and it can just be there to be a journal, and I can have them every year and they are added to my library. So I put the 2022 new and full moons right here in the beginning, since that was a plan to work with every new and full moon for 2022. I decided to put them all right here in the front so that I could easily reference like what the dates were and the times and all of that. So this was really handy to have this right here, and I enjoyed having it. It was just like really right in the beginning here. So this was my tarot journal. I didn't use it for really anything else. I only used it for tarot journaling. So when I did a tarot reading is when I would journal in here. So you guys already saw this. These were all of the books that I read in 2022. And then here is where I put my 2022 year ahead spread. If you guys watched any of my favorite videos last year, you would have seen all of these cards. I used the Smith-Waite Borderless Edition deck, and I used the Earth Wisdom Oracle. And so I just wrote my tarot and my oracle card for each month. And then I had my goddess of the year here at the beginning, which was Medusa. And Medusa's message was transformation. Medusa is the transforming nature of the dark feminine. Her spirit is liberating and life-giving when the depth of feelings are expressed. And I feel like this was such a on-point card for my 2022. I feel like I fully embodied Medusa in 2022. I transformed every aspect of my life. Where I lived was transformed. Where, how I looked was transformed. Like I had recently changed my hair, and I feel like I've just been embodying somebody that is truly myself this year. My work life changed. Everything changed for me. Everything completely transformed in 2022. And I actually found out that my life path card, like from my birthday, is justice. And I feel like Medusa, her story kind of embodies like karma, right? And being treated badly and people getting what they're due because of treating her badly, right? And she kind of got the short end of the stick here, but she definitely got her revenge, right? And I did do some, I definitely did some research on Medusa, and I do feel like I relate a lot with her story. Her story is sad though, and I kind of want to not have that for my life, obviously, but I think there are a lot of similarities between us and how life has kind of put us down, and we're still strong, we're still here, right? And I had a lot of synchronicities with Medusa. I got a Medusa card in the Crimson Asteria deck, which I keep up on my desk, and I don't know, there was just a lot of synchronicities with Medusa this year for me, but I think this was a perfect goddess for 2022. So then I just started, and I have like these monthly pages. So January, it's like my title page kind of, and I write down what my cards of the month were, and then I wrote down all of the cards or all of the decks that I used in January. And then what I would do is I would write my January 2022 tarot cards pulled, Judgment and Healing Grief, and I would do beginning of the month thoughts, so kind of like my prediction as to what the cards would mean for my month. And then I would come back at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month, and I would write down what really happened and like how it really did pertain to my month. And I would talk about this in every single favorites video as well. And then I would just do like my new and full moon readings, and I would take pictures, and I would, tape them in here, and all of that. So that was kind of like my setup for my journaling. I did kind of midway through the year stop taking pictures. Well, I kept taking the pictures, but I didn't feel like printing them out. So I went through here and I just started writing down like what tarot decks I used or oracle decks I used for each reading, instead of printing out the pictures. It was just a lot of work, and my printer is a little bit finicky. So yeah. I did end up taking the pages that weren't used out of the journal because I just felt like I didn't want it to be incomplete and have all these extra pages. So I took them out, and I have them, and I'm going to use them for other purposes. So yes, that was my 2022 journal, and I really did enjoy it. So for 2023, I have a planner and a journal. So let's look at the planner. So this is my Witches Datebook 2023 by Llewellyn. And I was going to get the Hobonichi Weeks, but it was really expensive. And I was in Barnes & Noble like the day after Christmas, and I saw this, and I was looking at it, and I was like, this is absolutely perfect. It's a little bit bigger, but it still fits in my purse, which was what my concern was. But this is perfect for what I wanted my planner to be for this year. So this planner is really cute. It has a lot of like witchy stuff here in the beginning, which I definitely want to go through. It has like recipes in here, magic. I love this. And then here we are in January. So I really wanted a planner to be able to do several different things. So first of all, this is the monthly spread here. And so each day I've been writing down in these little daily squares what I'm grateful for that day. So like on the 1st, I was grateful for coffee. On the 2nd, I was grateful for getting tarot reading orders. Right? So that is what this is for. And it's just a good look to see, like you can see all of the, like the new moon, the full moon, all of that. And so this is really nice to have. And I made this little bookmark out of a Lo Scarabeo like title card, and I just covered it in stickers. And it works really well as like a little bit bookmark there. So then what I've been doing for the weeklies is I've been writing down kind of a little summary of what I do every day. So like on Monday, we went to Las Cruces, which is where I, go to the mall and everything. We ate Chick-fil-A, and I went to the mall. So really fun. I decorated with some little stickers here. And like right over here, there's a heartwarming split pea and ham soup. I've put a little sticky note here for each week for decks I use this week. it's just nice to keep a record of what decks I'm using each week. That way I can reflect at the end of the year, since I'm not doing the same journal setup. I think I might write my cards of the month here. I haven't really figured out where to write them in here yet. So I think I might just write them over here as my cards of the month. They are in my journal, but not in the same way. So yeah, each day I mark it off with yellow highlighter that the day is done, and I write down what happened. And then if I pull cards for the day, I will highlight them down here in green. And then I'm not writing, I do have the decks that I used over here, but I just wrote the names of the cards I pulled down here. And then in purple here is where I have my work schedule if I work that day. But this journal is really cool because it gives you all of the astrological things going on every day. And that when I was going to get the Hobonichi weeks, I was going to write each thing in on the weeklies. I was going to write down what was happening so that I could be aware, because for one of my depth year plans is to be a spiritual advisor, and especially bringing astrology into that. And so now each day I can just go sit down, look at my my planner, and I'll know what's going on in, the universe. So up here, I have ancestors, protection, and guidance. So each week, I've decided to pull from my Seasons of the Witch Samhain Oracle. As much as I love and use this deck, I feel like I've been kind of precious with it. I don't deep dive it. I don't do anything like that. I only bring it out for very specific things. But I want to know this deck backwards and fronts because I haven't pulled every single card from this deck. I just haven't. So my plan is to pull a card from this deck every single week for 52 weeks for the whole year. There's only 44 cards in here, so there will be some overlap, obviously. And I could pull the same cards multiple times. The only thing I'm doing is that I'm keeping the card I had from the previous week out so that I can't get it 2 weeks in a row. But other than that, I could get the same card like multiple times a month, right? So I'm doing that, and what I'm doing, so let's flip over to this week. I am keeping the card as like my little bookmark for that week, so that anytime I'm in here writing, reflecting, doing, my planning stuff, I have this deck card. I have this card here to look at and to remind me of the energy of the week. So for this week, I have Nature Spirits, which is sacred and playfulness. And already it's just manifested in my life that way. And yeah, I really, really loved this. So here this week, we have January Moon, the Unspoken. For the full moon, we have on the 6th. So I can just lift this off and read it. That's why I did the sticky notes here, so that I can still use these little things that are in here. So for my planner, I love this. It has been, I'm trying to make it in a kind of a nightly ritual. At the end of the day, no matter what's happened, I sit down and I relax and I write down what happened in my planner, and I kind of look at the next day. So yeah, I really, really love this setup. It has a lot of information also in the back here. It has a place for notes, but we have like all the planetary retrogrades, the full moons, the eclipses, herbs, chakras, gemstones. So it has a lot of really good witchy info, which I really appreciate. So that is my planner plans for 2023. My journal, I really love this journal. I bought it at Barnes & Noble as well. And I just wanted something simple. Again, we have the metallic. This is a much smaller size than my previous one. And I decorated it with a sticker, and I put witch, mystic, and priestess. And I really, really love the way that it looks. It's simple and it's witchy and it's beautiful. And then back here, I just put 2023 so that I can reflect as to what year it was. So I wanted this journal to be a actual journal more so than a tarot journal. But this is my tarot journal and just my daily journal. Since I infused tarot with daily life, I just thought it needed to be together. And I really miss journaling just my day. So that is what this is. I do have some stuff here in the beginning. So I do have my books I read in 2023 here in this journal. I also have my Goddess of the Year here, which has not, I haven't drawn my Goddess card yet because I'm waiting on a deck to come in the mail to pull that from. So then my 2023 year ahead spread, I did the same thing where I wrote each month, and I wrote the tarot card and the oracle card that I pulled for each month. And the decks that I used for that, I'll show you guys. I have it written down here, but the tarot deck that I chose is the Tea Stained Tarot, which I actually got as a Christmas gift. But I really just wanted an RWS deck, and I thought this one worked really well with the oracle that I chose. So as you can see, it's just like a beigey brown deck. So I pulled all my cards from this deck this year. And then for my oracle, I pulled from the Messages from the Light meditation deck by Joyce Huntington. And this deck is really cool. I haven't used it a lot, but it has really good keywords, and so I thought it would be perfect to do my year ahead spread with, just because I feel like these keywords are very expansive, and you know, they can go a lot of different ways. I think the artwork's really pretty, and for it to be up on my I put my monthly oracle card on this little like card holder, so I thought it would be a really pretty deck to use, and since I was kind of neglecting it, I was like, I'll use it for that. So I have that. Here is my card of the year, which was Judgment. So I didn't do this last year, but I'm also going to print a picture out or do something here for Judgment. I just haven't decided yet. So yes. So the rest of this is just actual journaling. So just, you know, how my day has gone, all of that. I am doing my January card pull, beginning of month thoughts. I am doing that. But I'm going to write my end of the month thoughts at the end of the month. So just wherever I am in the journal is when I'm going to write that. So I don't have to keep space open on that page until the end of the month. I'm just going to write, about what's happening at the end of the month, So yeah, if I pull cards, I'll talk about it. I'll say I pulled the Witch card from this deck. And I don't have pictures in here. I am ordering, I do have it coming in the mail, tarot card stickers, so that I can put little stickers in here of the RWS deck when I pull tarot cards for myself, just to add a little bit. But it's just really, it is a lot to take pictures of every single spread and print it out and cut it out and tape it in. It's just a lot. If I do end up getting like a Polaroid camera or something, I might do it that way because it's a little bit easier. But for now, I think just using these like generic tarot card stickers will be really cool. And I don't know, something about just writing out what the deck I'm using is really cool. I do like that I have that visual aspect in my journal from last year, but I don't know, there's something about writing it down that just feels a little bit more old school, a little more analog, if you will, right? So those are my plans. I guess I'll just mention this quickly. This was a journal I was using last year to document herbs. It's like a little grimoire type thing for herbs, and I'm definitely going to continue this when I feel like it. I don't want to force myself to do anything in here, but when I feel like adding a grimoire page about an herb or a plant, I'm definitely going to do that. I might do something again in the summertime where I was pulling a card every week and from the Green Witch Oracle, and then I was adding it into here. So I might continue to do that. I'll definitely continue to do that next year, just maybe a few more pages, right? I feel like it's going to take a while to fill that up. So, also, I didn't show you guys this. Back here, I have my, this is my tarot and oracle wish list I have. So I just keep it in the back. And then for my new and full moons, I made a little cheat sheet here, just in case I need to just quickly reference it. It's in the back instead of having like a full page for it. That way I can just take it out and put it back in. But because of my planner having it, I don't think I'll be having to use that too much. And then I think I'm just gonna take my little Depth Year Plans paper and stick it back here as well. So that is my journaling and Depth Year Plans for 2023. Let me know if you guys have any goals. I do understand why it can be detrimental to set goals and then not be able to fulfill them. But I'm being very gracious with myself with these. You know, I think I gave myself goals and things I want to do that I've already really been wanting to do. And so it's not like a huge change or a huge shift or anything that, you know, that's hard or is going to be super difficult and is like not really wanting what I want to do, right? It's something that I've really just, my soul wants. So that's why I've kind of set those things out. But if you have no goals and you don't want to pressure yourself, that is 100% fine as well. I think that sometimes when we don't set goals for ourselves, we can just end up achieving them anyway because we don't really put that pressure on ourselves, right? So yeah, is there anything else I want to say? I don't think so. I will have my December favorites coming out soon. I'm probably going to film that in the next few days or today. I'm not sure. But yeah, I love you guys so much. If you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, I do offer them down in the description box in my Etsy. And I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.